a musician had to recently issue an apology because they read a book. Just a book. Not really a controversial book when I kind of explain what that is, but just a book. Now, this actually is coming from the popular kind of bluegrass band called Mumford And Sons. The name of the person in the band is Winston Marshall. They play the banjo and lead guitar for the band, and the musician tweeted an endorsement of journalist Andy No's Antifa expose, and it's titled Unmasked, inside Antifa's radical plan to destroy democracy. The tweet addressed to No said, "Finally had the time to read your important book. You're a brave man." That's it. That's it. That's enough to basically set the cancel culture thing right on this guy, okay? Now, Andy No is a freelance journalist. He covers a lot of the Antifa things, the BLM riots that happened last year, and basically just does the on-the-ground reporting. It's not possible for this guy to lie because everything that he is dealing with is firsthand experience. He's on the ground, oftentimes videoing and showing what is actually happening. So he's just writing a book with a collection of the things that he's seen that can be backed up by video, and all of a sudden, that's off the limits. You can't do that. So they were obviously labeling Marshall as a racist, calling him to be fired. Every name in the book you can imagine, of course, is kind of just the run-of-the-mill stuff that cancel culture typically does. But they made it clear that there is essentially no difference between reading something like Andy No's book and Hitler's book, Mein Kampf. No difference. That apparently if you read it, that means you must agree with it in every way possible. There's no way, of course, to read something for educational purposes. I don't understand how that makes sense. I really don't get it. It's just a book. But this is not the first time, apparently, that he has been under, or the band in general has been the subject to some type of cancel culture. So back in 2018, the band invited Jordan Peterson. And after pictures of Peterson and members of the band appeared on social media, Marshall told a Canadian radio station, "I don't think that having a photograph with someone means that you agree with everything they say." Which is common sense. It's actually crazy that you have to put that out there in the first place. Just because you take a picture with a guy doesn't mean that all of a sudden you agree with every single word that he's ever said ever possible. But that's the way that the cancel culture likes to do this. In every single situation, they want to make sure that no matter what it is that you don't not only associate, but that you don't quote tweet, you can only hate them in every way possible. You can't even pretend to just know who they are or acknowledge anything. Don't read their stuff. Don't talk about it. Just stay as far away from these people that we, as the radical left, don't like. So after he deleted the offending tweet, then apparently deleting all the other tweets, he continued with an apology about what basically took place. So he said, quote, "Over the past few days, I have come to understand the pain caused by the book I endorsed. I have offended not only a lot of people I don't know, but also those closest to me, including my bandmates, and for that I am truly sorry. As a result of my actions, I am taking time away from the band to examine my blind spots. For now, please know that I realize how my endorsements have the potential to be viewed as approvals of hateful, divisive behavior. I apologize, as this is not at all my intention." Why is he coming out and apologizing for this in the first place? I mean, looking at what he's saying, who is in pain because of this book? I mean, really, like I said, this is Andy No. He's just a journalist. He's not an opinion writer. He's not a political pundit. He's not a political commentator. He's literally just a journalist that goes on the ground to these places and just literally documents what he sees. Think about that. He's a real objective journalist. And by the way, Andy No is not a conservative. He is not a Republican. He doesn't even really come out and say anything about which political side he's on. He's just documenting what's actually out there. And all of a sudden, people have a problem with that. You can't even read the book. That's what doesn't make sense about this. And in addition to this, you know what this apology is going to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Actually, it's worse to apologize to the cancel culture mob because all they do is just assume the worst. It doesn't matter what you do. It's actually just their way of basically trying to get you to submit just so they can even blame you even more. That's all they do. It's oh, you offended us. How dare you do that? Please apologize. And then you say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And they're like, it's not good enough. You must now denounce them on Twitter by saying all of these things that we have to deem necessary. Oh, that denouncement wasn't good enough. Please do this other thing. And then do this other thing. Before you know it, they're controlling you. They're basically telling you everything you need to do because you're too scared and you bent the knee to them and apologize. So it's never a good idea. The fact is that the musician here and the band, they're not going to be the first. This is not the first person that has been canceled by this type of stuff, but they're also not going to be the last as well. You just watched a clip from the William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.